मैं माइक भी म्यूट कर रहा हूँ।
ठीक हो गया। सो अब आप
सर इनके सही शो हो रही हैं स्लाइड्स, ठीक शो हो रही
नहीं बेटे, उनको स्लाइड नहीं शो होनी है। आपने वहां से उसको चेंज करके वो प्रेजेंटर
है। प्रेजेंटर बना
अभी अभी आप नजर आ रहे हो ना
जी।
ठीक, तो आप वहां पर जाओगे
सर काम
वो उधर जहाँ से हमने किया था
एक सेकंड।
यहाँ पे
ओके ओके यहाँ गया।
और अब इनको मैडम अपना जरा ऑन करिए।
मैम कैमरा ऑन करें।
ऑन हो गया।
एक सेकंड।
ऊपर के लो, ऊपर
जी सर आगे कर
आगे, हाँ ये ठीक है। तो ये ऐसे नहीं लो,
ऐसे सबको बनाना है,
नहीं
बारी बारी सारे
कोई
प्रेस।
बना
ओके
वो वाला स्टार्ट करना जो पहले वाली और उसके बाद अब आपके मैडम पे चलेंगे तो मैडम को कुछ और से जाते मैडम को
इस टाइम ये वाला मैडम का बंद कर दो, अब जिससे ज्वाइन हुई है।
कौन सा
अब मैडम ये कनेक्ट करें इस टाइम, ये देखें। ये यहाँ से बस प्रेजेंट कर सकते हैं, बोल सकते हैं। और
नहीं मैडम की प्रेजेंटेशन दे देगा।
मैं इसको बंद करके अपनी खोल के देखूं?
फिर आप शेयर क्यों चला रही है? एक सेकंड मैं करता हूँ। मैम एक सेकंड सर शेयर करेंगे आपने ना
मेरी ये
Something
बड़ी
is being
ये
है।
भी नहीं है।
ठीक है शेयर करें इस पर।
करें मेरी खुल गई ना, मेरी आ गई।
ठीक है एक सेकंड।
हाँ ठीक है जो
जी इनके आ गई।
ठीक हो गया
नहीं मिल गई।
या इनके आ गई।
इनका फुल स्क्रीन करें, ये नीचे भी आता
कहाँ पे?
ये नीचे
ये
है ना।
बैड नेटवर्क क्वालिटी आ रहा है,
आप
वो मैडम को
मुझे सिग्नल्स क्यों आ रहे हैं? योर नेटवर्क इज काजिंग पुअर
सर नेटवर्क भी मेरे पास भी बंद हो रहा है।
ट्राई स्विचिंग टू ए
मेरे
बेटर
पास भी
नेटवर्क और
बंद है।
मूविंग क्लोजर टू
यस
वाईफाई।
हमारा भी बंद हो रहा है।
बता रही हूँ ना कि आ रहा है।
अभी ठीक हो रहा है।
मैडम नेक्स्ट स्लाइड करें।
मेरी तो गायब ही हो गया।
एक सेकंड
ये दीजिए मेरी, ये आ गई। नेक्स्ट स्लाइड तुम, सॉरी ये आ गई। थोड़ा लेट आ रहा है उस पे।
10 सेकंड पे डिले आएगा।
हाँ यस।
ये यहाँ पे मैं आपको बताऊँ, यहाँ पे ऐड करूँ, यहाँ पे ऐड होता है ना।
नहीं 10 सेकंड का डिले नहीं होना चाहिए। बात का तो आप एक लाइन ही बोलते हो एक स्लाइड पे। मेरी तो स्लाइडिंग में सुन।
वो वेबिनार है ना
सर यहाँ हो गया, लेकिन फिर से सेंड लाइव करना पड़ेगा।
कर लो।
अब मैं सेंड लाइव करूँगा देन इनका लेक्चर
हाँ
सफल ट्रांसफर हो रहा है। हाँ हो रहा है, ये अब सेंड लाइव हो रहा है।
अब नेक्स्ट करें।
जी मैं कर रही हूँ। कर दिया, लेकिन ये लेट आ रहा है, दोनों पे लेट आ रहा है।
हाँ वही सर 10 सेकंड डिले।
आपको नहीं पता चलेगा।
मैं अपने
आपने
लेक्चर
कंटिन्यू रखना अपना।
लोगों को स्लाइड लेकिन एक पीछे मिलेगी।
नहीं लोगों को पूरी आपकी साउंड में 10 सेकंड डिफरेंस से चल रहा हो।
ओके
टीवी का प्रोग्राम लाइए।
अच्छा, आपका ख्याल में मुझे उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, लोगों को वही मिल रहा होगा जो वो देख रहे होंगे।
हाँ वो चीज मिल रहा हो।
ठीक।
तो जिस स्टेप के बारे में करते हैं
यस
हम तो लिंक से ज्वाइन कर रहे होंगे और हमने एक सेकंड जो करना वो मेरे वाली स्क्रीन के साथ मेरी प्रेजेंटेशन सामने लाइव
कैसे?
जिस टाइम पे मैं कहूँगा कि नाउ प्रोफेसर आ गया स्टार्ट योर प्रेजेंटेशन।
अपना कैमरा में ऑफ रखो ना यहाँ से।
आपका कैमरा फिर ऑफ करें।
भी नहीं ना हुआ वो।
नहीं आपका कैमरा जो ऑन है मैडम वाली
ये इस टाइम मेरा
कैमरा
शो
ऑन है।
हाँ मेरा भी
कैमरा तो ऑन है लेकिन शेयर नहीं हो रहा,
नहीं हो रहा है।
बाहर नहीं जा रहा। लाइव पे सर ये रोशनी मिल रहा है।
ओके ओके
समझ गए बात ये तो
मुझे ये बता
जी मैम।
ये मेरी उस तरह से जब आ रही है तो कोई इसको कैमरे को क्या है, इसकी डायरेक्शन होनी चाहिए, क्या है सही?
मैम कैमरा ये देखें ना, ये देखें
इसको ऊपर करो।
ये नहीं ये देखें, अब देखें।
हाँ
अब ठीक है। अब नहीं ये कैमरा है ना आपका, ये कैमरा
ओके फाइन।
ये अब देखें
अब बेहतर है।
ठीक है ना
हाँ सर, लेकिन अभी भी उस तरह नहीं है।
किस तरह कैमरा?
मुझे क्यों लग रहा है जैसे, हालांकि मैं तो सीधा ही देख रही हूँ, मुझे क्यों लग रहा है जैसे मैं ऊपर देख रही हूँ।
नहीं आप उधर ऊपर देखिए।
इधर देखेंगे ना, अब देखें अब आप ऐसे देखें। आप उधर देखें।
हाँ
लेकिन ये इतना ऊंचा होना चाहिए
नहीं
क्या?
नहीं
नहीं
वो
ये
मैं सिर्फ
बिल्कुल
उसका एंगल
आप उधर ऊपर देख रहे हैं ना इसलिए आपको ऊपर लग रहा है, अभी बिल्कुल एंगल ठीक है आपका।
ओके फाइन। हमारी ऑडियो जा रही है या सिर्फ वीडियो? हमारी वीडियो नहीं, हमारी वीडियो भी जानी है या ऑडियो जानी है सिर्फ?
ऑडियो बंद करो यार।
सर
21 attendees. साउंड बंद कर। आप लीव करें, मैडम की लीव करें, ये म्यूट करके देखो। बस Right, you will go into live. Assalamu alaikum ji everyone. I welcome you all. My name is Uzair and from this is the DAG office in the SIMS. We have arranged a number of 4 in total webinars, or to start with the proceedings, I would like to start with a few verses from the Holy Quran. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Qul huwallahu ahad. Allahus samad. Lam yalid wa lam yulad wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. Sadaqallahul azim. हमने ट्राई ये किया है कि ऑनलाइन लेक्चर्स के हिसाब से जो इम्पोर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट्स हैं उनके लिए हम वेबिनार्स करें, एंड देयर वाज लॉट्स ऑफ थॉट प्रोसेसेस कि किस तरह से करना चाहिए, क्या करना चाहिए, और इवेंचुअली वी केम अप विद द आइडिया कि जो 4 मेजर उसमें कंपोनेंट्स बनते हैं, उन सारे 4 कंपोनेंट्स को हम कर सकें एक एक करके। पहले आइडिया ये था कि हम एक ही दिन सारे के सारे कर लें, लेकिन फिर हमने ये सोचा कि हम इसको हिस्सों में बांट लें और फिर ग्रेजुअली एक कर लें। सो मैं एक शुरू में छोटा सा इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहूँगा, और इंट्रोडक्शन देने के बाद जो है वो आई विल मूव ऑन टू दी आई विल आस्क दी टुडेज प्रेजेंटर कि वो अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन जो है वो कंप्लीट कर सकें। हम पहले मैं आपको थोड़ी सी टाइमलाइन के मुतालिक बताना चाहता हूँ कि व्हाट आर वी डूइंग, और इसके बीच में we started with the idea. Lockdown was in mid of the March, and we had a long timeline actually. So we had developed a database, and we sought out a software program. We did our first lecture on 5th of May, and then regularly फिर हमने एक एक करके चीजें उसमें ऐड करते रहे. By Eid we had 94 lectures, and then we developed a YouTube channel, and today we completed 335 lectures actually. मीनवाइल हमने अब ये सोचा, और DME ने और जितने भी हमारे कॉलीग्स हैं विद मेडिकल एजुकेशन बैकग्राउंड, UHS के साथ भी हमारी कंसल्टेशंस थी, और फिर ये डिसाइड हुआ, प्रिंसिपल साहब का कहना ये है कि वी नीड टू स्टार्ट असेसमेंट्स। असेसमेंट के बगैर इन लेक्चर्स का फ़ायदा नहीं है। सो we developed an assessment committee. An assessment committee ने फिर ये डिसाइड किया कि 15th of July onward we would be having assessments. अब ये असेसमेंट्स कैसे होंगी, ये इसका हम फ्रेमवर्क बना रहे हैं, और ये बहुत जल्दी बाकी स्टूडेंट्स के साथ भी हम शेयर कर लेंगे। लेकिन अभी हम जो काम करना चाह रहे हैं वो ये है कि फैकल्टी को ख़ास तौर पे हम बता सकें, सेंसिटाइज कर सकें ऑन 4 मेजर एस्पेक्ट्स। तो ये हमने 4 वेबिनार्स रखे हैं, और एंड वी होप कि ये यूजफुल होंगे फॉर एवरीवन दैट अटेंड्स दीज लेक्चर्स। स्पेसिफिकली इट इज फोकस फॉर टीचर्स, लेकिन स्टूडेंट्स कैन ऑल्सो बेनिफिट, ताकि उनको भी पता चले कि कैसे सब कुछ चलता है और क्या हो रहा है, और बैकग्राउंड पे क्या थॉट प्रोसेसेस चल रहे होते हैं। सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट दी 4 लेक्चर्स, 4 वेबिनार्स, आज का जो लेक्चर है दैट इज ऑन ऑनलाइन लेक्चर्स, ऑनलाइन कैसे पढ़ाना चाहिए, क्या चीज़ें होती हैं। देन वी हैव वन फॉर असेसमेंट्स, वन फॉर डिजिटल इंटीग्रेशन, एंड लास्टली वन फॉर क्वालिटी इश्योरेंस। वी आर थिंकिंग अबाउट अ कपल ऑफ 2 मोर, लेकिन अभी हमारे प्लान में यही 4 हैं। So the first one is effective online lecturing. Would be given by Professor Alia. Professor Alia is professor of gynecology, and she is a very seasoned medical educationist. She would be talking about principles of online lectures. We have discussed in detail maybe hundreds of hours of lecturing जो भी हमने record की है पिछले 1.5 माह में, and we identified a number of good points, some bad points, जिसको हम adopt करने से बेहतर चीजें कर सकते हैं। सेकेंड, कल जो वर्कशॉप होगी दैट वुड बी ऑन असेसमेंट्स, और प्रोफेसर शहजाद हैं। प्रोफेसर शहजाद इज प्रोफेसर ऑफ यूरोलॉजी, एंड ही इज आल्सो हैज मास्टर्स इन मेडिकल एजुकेशन फ्रॉम खैबर टीचिंग, or a very vibrant medical educationist, and he would be talking about assessment और major aspects होंगे what to assess, how to assess, when to assess, where to assess and why to assess. और वो कल आपको बताएंगे कि डायडेक्टिक पार्ट कौन सा है और बाकी चीज़ें कौन सी हैं और किसी चीज़ के लिए MCQs कैसे यूज़ करने हैं और हम क्या प्लान कर रहे हैं फॉर असेसमेंट, एंड ही इज ऑल्सो हेडिंग द असेसमेंट कमेटी एज वेल. तीसरा हमारा बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट वेबिनार है दैट इज ऑन वुड बी डिलीवर्ड बाय प्रोफेसर वारिस फारूका, एंड ही हैज वेरी सक्सेसफुली conducted 2 assessments on Google Forms. So we are adopting at the moment Google Form, और हम चाहते हैं कि सारी फैकल्टी को ये आए कि Google Form क्यों बन रहा है, कैसे बन रहा है, उसको कैसे इंटीग्रेट करना है, उसको कैसे इवैल्यूएट करना है और उसका रिस्पॉन्स कैसे चेक करना है. ये would be the day before, the day after tomorrow. And finally I would be facilitating one of the workshops जिसके बीच में और ऑनलाइन वेबिनार्स जिसके बीच में we were talking about quality assurance, and और कल मैंने प्रोफेसर शहजाद साहब के साथ एक लंबी डिस्कशन की जिसके बीच में हैं 21 अटेंडीज ऊपर आए हैं ऊपर. सो अब हम जौन सा है इसके बीच में हम सीक्रेसी, वैलिडिटी, रिलायबिलिटी की बात करेंगे और ये सारे की सारी चीज़ें जौन सी हम डिस्कस करेंगे इन क्वालिटी एश्योरेंस में. सो ये तो ब्रीफ सा एक हमारा वो था, इंट्रोडक्शन था, और अब जो है वो मैं वुड लाइक टू ऐड दिस इम्पोर्टेंट स्लाइड कि हमारे पास मॉडरेटर्स हैं डॉक्टर किरण, डॉक्टर खालिद और डॉक्टर शाहिद, अगेन मेंबर्स हैं, फैकल्टी मेंबर्स हैं, एसोसिएट प्रोफेसर्स हैं डिफरेंट क्लिनिकल स्पेशलिटीज़ के, एंड दे आर ऑल मेडिकल एजुकेशनिस्ट, और वो फैसिलिटेट करेंगे द प्रेजेंटर्स एज मॉडरेटर्स इन दीज वेबिनार्स, ताकि हम जो आप क्वेश्चंस पूछना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि ये वेबिनार्स हैं तो आप क्वेश्चंस जो हैं ना वो ऐड कर देंगे इन द कमेंट सेक्शन, और जो मॉडरेटर हैं वो वहाँ से उनको पिक कर लेंगे, एंड देन उन जो हम थीम्स बना लेंगे और उन थीम्स के बाद हम उन क्वेश्चंस के आंसर कर लेंगे. सो आज भी अगर आपके कोई क्वेश्चन होंगे सो उन क्वेश्चंस को आप प्लीज़ टाइप कर दीजिएगा और हम उन क्वेश्चंस को लेके तो हम एट द एंड ऑफ द वेबिनार वुड बी आस्किंग दोज क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम the facilitator जो present कर रही हैं. So I'd hand over now to Professor Alia Bashir. She would be talking about on effective online lectures. So I would request to थोड़ा सा delay आएगा क्योंकि we need to shift the presentation and control to her, and then we will be starting. So in a couple of minutes she would be starting the lectures.
ठीक है, आ रहा है? Should I?
Yes.
Okay, dear, Assalamu alaikum. I am Professor Alia. Thank you so much, Uzair, for giving a brief and good introduction. We all know that because of this COVID-19 outbreak, there are a number of schools and universities that has been closed, and we have to make a shift from contact on to contact to from in-class lectures to the online lectures, and for that we have to look for a number of techniques through which we can take these online lectures. So therefore, if we talk that in this current situation, this is an opportunity not only for the teachers as well as for the e-learning professionals to test the boundaries of what is possible without the personal contact. Therefore, we are talking about online lecturing skills today. My learning objective of this session is that at the end of this lecture, the participants can be able to design an online lecture with a clear structure and according to the level of the audience. And secondly, they can describe different strategies for increasing the student interest and engagement during your online lectures. If we talk about lecture, first of all, we would know what is lecture is. Anybody would like to answer my question that what is lecture? Anybody has any idea? Can anybody define that or no? I have to continue. Okay, fine. If we talk about lecture, this is an either oral or online presentation with the intent to give the information to the audience regarding any particular subject or topic that we want to teach them. And if we talk about the online lecture, then it is a lecture that is designed to be posted or taken online. It can be recorded, it can be in the form of video, it can be in the form of audio, or it can be both. So because of these pandemics and all these situations, prevailing situation, this online lecturing has become a very important, cost-effective, commonly used method of teaching to the number of persons who are working in different workplace or at their homes even. So signposting is what what I am actually talking in my presentation is I will be talking regarding the challenges that we face with the online lectures, what is the utility of these online lectures. Then I will be talking about how we can plan and deliver this effective online lectures. And in the last, we will discuss the active learning strategies that we can use during our lectures in order to make the students and the participant engage in that. And last but not the least, how to take and give the feedback regarding our online lectures. These are the things that I will be discussing while I will be going through my presentation. So if we will be talking, I will look at the lectures. Generally, the response to the lectures, either during the class or maybe online lectures, is somewhat like that. The students may not be attentive, they may be feeling sleepy, or maybe lost their towards the lecture. So these are the usually somewhat response of the students towards the lecture, whether they are face to face or whether they are on the online. So if this is the response to the lectures in general, whether it is whatever the way it has to be communicated to the participants, then what are the challenges that we are facing with these online lectures? So if we look at the challenges, there are a number of challenges that we have to overcome with our techniques, with our strategies and different helping tools that we can overcome. And the lectures that have a problems can have internet facilities. There is no internet facilities. We want to take the lectures online, but as we are also taking our classes in the same, there may be some of our students that may be living in a far-flung areas, some villages or some remote areas where there may not be any internet facilities. So they will be deprived of their online lectures and they may not be able to take those lectures. Then another challenge that we can face, that internet is there, but there is a connection problem. Maybe slow internet speed, maybe low bandwidth, or maybe the signals are not properly there, or sometimes lockdown and many other problems that are there in which the students are unable to have access to these even online lectures. And another very important issue and the major problem is that our faculty is not trained with the technology. Because of this outbreak, this is a sudden shift from the face-to-face to the online lecturing techniques, and because of that, our faculty may not be trained up to that mark in which they can well versed with the online lecturing techniques, and therefore they may be little bit hesitant to take those lectures on the online. Another problem that we are looking into and we are experiencing when we are taking these online lectures, that gadgets are not up to the marks. Maybe the laptops or their systems are very old and they are not compatible with the new latest softwares. And sometimes windows are not updated. And when you come for the lecture, the windows start updating and it takes about 20 to 30 minutes and it is wasted during that time. And sometimes if you are come with for the lecture and you found that your laptops are not charged, or maybe someone has used that laptop in the night and when you came in the morning without charging, then it will again be a problem. And then at the end, you have a laptop, you have a window, but the presentation quality is not good. You have not given the good quality presentation and you have not made the presentation at all, then again it is very difficult for the students who are not even seeing you, who are not even looking at your body language, and they are looking at the computer without having listening to the audio only, and then it may be have again a problem if you have not a good PowerPoint presentation. And some of the faculty members or some of the doctors would like to take the lectures on the mobile phones. And while they are taking the lectures on the mobile phone, the problem is of maybe sometime incoming calls and messages, and this interrupts the lecture flow and it interrupts the attention of the students towards the lecture as well as the faculty who is taking the lecture at that time. Then another problem is that of during lectures, some of the teachers and the faculty may think that this is an online lecture, video is off. Therefore, if we are taking the lecture to the students, even keeping our kids aside and sitting beside us, there is no problem. But you know, the kids are kids, they will be just making disturbances, they may be putting the things here and there, making noises. And all these things make a disturbance to the students and to the flow of lecture. Therefore, it is always important when you are taking your online lecture or you are sitting somewhere, you should take it at a serious note, and you should be sitting in a calm, quiet place where you can give your or deliver your lecture without having any interruption. Then another very important problem is with the large group size. When even we are taking the lecture on face-to-face, we are all working in a public sector hospitals and we have colleges and we have about 200 to 300 or up to 350 number of students in a class. Even when we are taking in face-to-face lectures in the classrooms, we cannot make eye contact with each and every students. And when we are dealing with these online lectures, then it's again a large group is a big hassle and it's very difficult to find out if we are asking any question, who is the one who is answering, who is the one whom we are talking about to, and these are the all, then it is very difficult sometimes to manage these problems of the large group. Then another problem of the lecture is that they are the didactic format of lecture, because teacher think they are the expert and they are the one who has to deliver the lectures to the students, and students have the one who has to listen to them. Today, the lecture that I am giving also is not my way of giving the lecture, but I have been told just to just मैंने आप लोगों को बताना है. Otherwise, I am always interactive in between the lecture, and this is my way to teach. Even on the online lectures, I go on asking the questions from the students. Even if they are responding only few students, I can recognize their voices. But still, I feel yes, there are someone who is answering my questions, but if the lecture is only that if I am coming, I am delivering, and then I am going away, then it encourages only passivity, that the students are only sitting and they are listening to that the teacher, and they may be gaining some information out of that or may not be, and then it becomes very boring for the students as well. And when it will be boring, then the attention span will be very less. That it is studies has shown even that these lectures have attention span of only 15 to 20 minutes. That If someone individual is listening to you and they are looking at the or listening to the lecture, after every 50 minutes they get distracted. They may be busy in something else, they may be thinking about something else, and then when it is only a 15-minute span for an individual that has been proved by the studies, then the retention rate for the lectures is only 5%. Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Yeah. So when the lecture's attention span is only 15 to 20 minutes, in that case, the retention rate that studies has proved, and they are found to be only 5 to 10%. You see, if we are taking a lecture of about 45 to 50 minutes, and then only the students are gaining only 5 to 10% from the routine lecture that we are giving, and it's not the purpose that we have able to fulfill out of them. So therefore, we need to improve our lecturing techniques. Another problem is of online lecturing is the lack of social interaction. There is no face-to-face contact with the students, and sometimes the students are very smart in IT and they are clever enough. They just sign in and they may go away. They may be busy in some other work, in some other activity, or maybe sleeping. We don't know actually what they actually are doing. So in order to make them busy during our online lectures, we will learn how we can, shortly after my test problems, that how we can involve them in active learning during our online lectures. Then if another problem that is in the hands of the facilitators or in the hands of the teacher is the planning of the lectures. Sometimes if your lectures are not properly made, they are not properly organized, it will again a problem for the students. Like if you have not explained the learning objective to the students, what are the objectives? Objective mean what are the outcomes or what are the intentions that you want your students to learn towards the end of that 45 or 50-minute lectures. This should be given in a 1 or 2 slides in the start of the lecture so that the student can able to understand that what are the things that we are going to discuss today in our lecture from the beginning, and to which are the area they have to give the attention during their lecture. Then another problem of lecturer is that we are not making the material properly organized, or we have not given the proper sequence. Like I'm a gynecologist. If I talk about my own topic, like if I want to teach the topic pregnancy to the students, but instead of giving the etiology, definition, or pathophysiology and signs and symptoms, instead I start discussing the management with the students without making them the basic concepts, then it will be again a very bad idea. Therefore, we always have to make our presentation that move from basics to the complex ideas, and they can make them understand well. So another problem that is sometimes our lecture topics are very lengthy, and we have to deliver the information that within the 15-minute lecture, and then we rush too quickly through our lectures. And when we do so, then we don't have any time to emphasize the important points or key issues that we actually need the students to learn, and we are even unable to explain the difficult concept during our lectures. Therefore, this again will be all the things that we need to learn, how we can make them understand what actually we want them to tell. Another problem of the facilitator can be the poor presentational and communication skill. This is very important because the students who are listening to our online lectures, even they can't see our body language, but by our communication skills, they can understand what are the points that they need to be emphasized and what are the key points that the presenter want them to learn and take with them as a home message along with them. So if someone is not very well versed, they have to rehearsal, they have to make a practice before coming and delivering the lectures to the students on the online. Then another important problem of our is the feedback. We don't have a culture of feedback. We don't give the feedback to the students, and we are not even taking the feedbacks regarding our lectures from the students. So we are unable to judge what is our performance, how we are performing, and what are the areas that being as a presenter we need to improve. So it's important that we should foster the culture of feedback, and we start taking the feedback at the end of our lectures so that we can have an improvement in our further upcoming lectures. These were all that problems that I was talking regarding the online lectures, but it doesn't mean that online lecture has only problems. They have and they do have number of benefits as well. And these benefits, because of these benefits, the first and the most important benefit at this moment is this: when this pandemic and outbreak, when number of medical colleges, universities and schools has been closed, and more than 1 billion of the students have in education has been interrupted. This online teaching is one way to deliver our education and teach our students without wasting their time and without wasting their years for their career. And therefore, another important benefit of our online lecturing is that the students, that those who are working, or they are those who are have been in some jobs, they can continue their jobs along with the online lectures. They can listen to these online lecture at their own convenience, at their time, and then they can make the important things that they want to learn, they can learn out of that. And this is again because of the flexible schedule. That is another very important benefit of that. And then even the environment is also matter, because when the student comes to the classrooms, in the classrooms they have to sit in a class of 200 and 300 of students, and sometimes it's hot, in a hot and humid atmosphere. It's difficult, it is suffocating, and they may be sweating all the time. While with the online lectures, they can be sit comfortably at home, in their bedrooms, in their bed, or wherever they want. They can listen to these online lectures with the flexible schedules. And another very important benefit of these online lecture is costs, that it also actually cost very low to the participants, because overseas students can even join this. Otherwise, if you are coming and going to the colleges, universities, and even if you have some classes abroad, there are a number of costs in terms of fare, aapki rihaish hai, khana peena hai, all this that has been not involved in these online lectures, and therefore it is found to be very useful. Another important benefit of these online lectures is that they teach the students self-discipline and sense of responsibility. Now, because of these online lecturings, the teacher are the one who are delivering the lectures. It gives a sense of responsibility to the students that they have to go through these lectures by their own, and they have to learn whatever the time they want convenient for them to learn those lectures and to prepare those things that they have been taught already. And similarly, if you are taking online lectures, then it is a flexible time, flexible schedule. You can take it any time, any moment, and therefore you can take a number of courses. That is because of time constraint from 8 to 2, it's not possible. But with the online courses, you can take number of courses, whatever you want, at whatever your time, at your convenience. So we have talked about the benefits as well as the problems and challenges that we are facing with the online lecture. So the important next aspect of my lecture is today that what are the solutions, how we can make this online teaching helpful for our students, and how we can make our facilitators or teachers so that they can make a good interactive online lectures with their participants with the fully engagement of the student. And the important answer is that the teachers need to integrate technology seamlessly into curriculum instead of viewing it as an add-on or an afterthought or an event. So the online teaching is there, we have to implement it, we have to do the careful planning for it. So if we are planning and delivering a e-lecture, what are the steps we need to take into consideration? So first of all, when we are delivering any sort of a lecture, either online or any sort of a lecture, we have to think of the students, not the textbook. So first of all, think to whom you are going to deliver the lecture. And once you are, suppose I am taking the lectures of final year, then I have to think about the final year students, and I know what basic knowledge they have and from where I have to build my lecture. So I have to think my lecture beforehand. Maybe I am in a routine to think about the lecture maybe week or 2 weeks before I have to deliver it. I to prepare that lectures. I go through those slides again and again, and I go on improving the slides maybe till the last night when I have to give the lecture in the morning. And it's again very important the level of the audience that to whom I have to deliver the lecture or we have to deliver the lecture. We should keep the level of them in our mind, and we must highlight the important message that we want to give to the participants in our presentation, that what are the important messages we want to give at the end of that lecture, and we should find a good material for them. And for that, all we need to keep the time in our minds, that time is very important. If I have a 50-minute lecture and I can make a slides of 100, it's not possible for me to deliver those 100 slides in that 50 minutes. Therefore, it's very important to we should recognize what is important out of that material, and we should only put those important points on the slides, and rest can be left to the students. They can read through books and whatever where they are. And then another problem is of gadgets. We need to check over gadgets in advance. We need to check over laptops, over mobiles, over windows, over everything on which we have to deliver the lecture in advance, and we should bring them in preparation. And even we can keep the backup in the form of we can email our lectures prior to our presentation to ourselves, so that in the morning if there has any problem with the laptop, we can open in the email of some system or some other's laptop, or we can put our lecture as a backup in the USB. Then another problem was we talked about of mobile phones. We have seen here some presenters who are giving the lectures on mobile phones, and then they have interruptions because of their calls, and then it disrupts the flow of the lecture. So it is advisable, if you even want to take a lecture on the mobile, better to avoid and give on the laptops, but even on the systems. But if even you want to give on the mobile phones, then please put it on an aeroplane mode or switch off your SIM and keep your Wi-Fi on during your lecture, and then you can deliver your lecture without any interruption. And when you are delivering your lecture, the lecture should be in a dialogue and conversational style, that you are talking to the students as you are talking ordinarily with your friends and each other. And it should not be like that just you are giving and delivering lecture and then you are moving away. It shouldn't be like that. And during your lecture, wherever you feel that this point is important, you must emphasize that this point is important for their MCQ, SAQ, OSCE, or their assessments, and then try to explain that key points with their relevant routine life examples. Like we are the clinicians, because in our fourth year, third years, and fourth year, final year, about 74% of our teaching is clinical based, and in them, if we will involve our clinical scenarios, patients' pictures, or something like related to patients, then it will be more easily comprehend and understand by the students. And then obviously we should give the lecture in an appropriate lecture language that is understandable by the students. Then an important point that I know that every one of us know now up till now how to make a good PowerPoint presentation, but only just a few things just to emphasize. And while making PowerPoint presentation, these are the few certain things that one has to keep in mind, that they shouldn't overcrowd their slides. Sometimes some presenters write too much over the slides, and if it is too much information on a single slide, then it is very difficult to read by the audience. And especially if you are taking online lectures, even then you may be moving very fast, and then it's difficult for the students to read and to comprehend what actually it is written over there. And secondly, if there is a space on the slide, you want to present certain data or some certain data or something like that, that you can put it either in the graphs or you can put it in the table forms, because while looking at the graph, you can easily understand what the trend it want to show, and by looking at the tables, it's easy to comprehend the data, and it's easy what inference actually you want them to draw out of your text, rather than from your slide, rather than writing it in the form of text. Then these are the animation that I was using, slide one by one, one line one by one is coming. These are the animations, and whenever we need to use the animation, we have to use it very wisely. Use it when you want to highlight an important point, or sometimes I am using these animations just to hide the text from the students, and I just ask the question, and when I have to show the answer, then I use the animation. So animations can be used to highlight some points, some question answer sessions, or maybe like that. And then very important is in between, as I already told you, that for any lecture, the attention span is only 15 to 20 minutes. After every 15 minutes, that individual uh, thoughts may go away with some other things, and they may not be remain intended towards your lecture. So you have to bring the students back on track by introducing certain activities that we will shortly be discussing in this lecture. Then while making the slide, or when you are writing on the slide, there are certain things that you have to keep on in your mind. For each slide, you must have a clear heading. This is very important. Many of the presenters' slides I have seen that they have written the text over their slides, but they are not giving the heading. By giving the heading, what is important is that someone, if like suppose has joined your lecture in the middle of your lecture and you are talking about like pathophysiology of some disease, and if you have not given the heading of pathophysiology, the student who has just joined in or entered into class may not be able to understand what actually you are talking about. Until the time he comprehend the things, you may be moved on to the next line, and this will be a waste of time. Therefore, always every slide should have a heading, and if it is like if the pathophysiology is on two or more slides, then give the heading of pathophysiology, continue like that. So every slide must have some heading, and every slide must have only 5 to 7 lines, not more than that lines, and these lines should have only at least not more than 7 words per line, because this will space the slides properly, and it will be given neat and uh, eye-catchy appearance to the slides. Then regarding the fonts, when you are making a writing in the as a fonts, then you have to better use this sans serif, not serif. What is sans serif font? Sans mean project without, and serif are the projections. If you can appreciate, these are the red small projections that are on the alphabets. These are for the time Romans. So for writing upon our PowerPoint presentations, it's always better to use a sans serif, that is without projections. And these fonts are like Arial, Tohama, Veranda. These are the one, Vardana. These are the one that is better options as compared to the serif ones, that is time Romans. These serif fonts are good for the books, for the textbooks, for the assignments, for maybe that is printed assignments, and these all, but not for the PowerPoint presentation. Font size should not be very small, even should not be very big. It preferably should stay within 24 to 44. And different colors of font and styles should be avoided on the slides. It should be of one type better. And like this sort of a complicated font should be avoided on the slides, because if we will use too complicated fonts on the slide, then it will be difficult to read by the audience, and they will be not able to understand what actually properly written over there. So what are the do's and don'ts regarding another other do's and don'ts that in order to highlight the key points, use the bullets. And the bullets, as we already talked about, that it shouldn't be for more than 5 to 7 lines. So bullets number should also be only 6 or 7 maximum, or not more than that. And then these italic you have, if you see on the upper toolbar of the computers, they have some slanting letters. These are the italics. These shouldn't be used for the routine writing. They can only be used for the quotes or for highlighting certain important ideas. And therefore, italics are should be only meant for these thoughts and ideas. And even it's not a good idea to write all the things in capital alphabets, because it's again difficult to read. So lesser case are better to be used in case of making the slides. Now, if you look at your overall PowerPoint presentation, that it should have the four sub-segments, that it has the introduction or preview, in which you will be introducing your learning objectives and the introduction of the subject. Then the main body, in which you may be explaining that what is its etiology, signs and symptoms, pathophysiology, investigations, managements, and etc. etc. Depending upon the topic that actually whatever you want to deliver. And then you should make at least one or two slides of summary or conclusion, that what is the take home message, what actually you want your students to learn out of your lecture, and what is the gist of your lecture must be explained at the end. Do not end your lecture abruptly. And then you also keep one slide and few minutes, and save those few minutes and for the question answer session. So now we were talking, this was the whole, that how we have to make our PowerPoint and how we can make the, how we can organize our PowerPoint presentations. Now we'll be talking about active learning strategies that we have to incorporate during our lectures, so that the students remain engaged and attentive towards our presentations. So if we at what is active learning strategies, what is active learning? This is an instructional method that engages students in the learning process. That any instructional method you want to use during your lecture and that engages or making your catches the students' attention is the active learning. And it has been seen through the studies that those teachers who emphasize higher order thinking, obviously if for higher order thinking you have to make the students involved in problem solving or hands-on learning, then their performance will be far better as compared to their peers, and that is important. We should we should make our learners the lifelong learners, and to make them think critically instead of just delivering the lecture and going away. So what are the different learning strategies that we can use? The first and the most important thing is that, as we already said, and this has been proved through the studies, that the lecture attention span is only 15 to 20 minutes. Therefore, we need to deliver our lectures in chunks. And like if I'm the one who has been given an opportunity to talk with you, so after every 10 minutes, I would have asked you, and then I just comprehend that, and I just have recalculated, collected that information that I have asked, or maybe summarizes that thing, or maybe introduce any activity in between my lecture. So after every 10 to 15 minutes, you try to check for the attention of the students. This we can even done by online. We can ask put some question MCQ on your slide, or you can ask the questions from the students, or ask them to in the chat box to write some answer, something like smiley face or something like that, or maybe any query, or they can raise the hand. There is a option of raise the hand in the Zoom as well, and maybe in the Microsoft Teams as well. I exactly don't know the Microsoft team, but I know in the Zoom it is there. So they can be asked to raise their hand so that we can see how much they are attentive to our lecture. And similarly, after every 10 minutes, then we can ask for their concept. We can even ask while we are taking the lectures, we can stop our lecture for 2-3 minutes, and we can ask whether they have understood whatever they have been told up till now, or we can ask any of our students to summarize what actually I have told up till now, or you told up till now, and then you can restart your lecture from there. Or you can again ask them if they can able to understand smiley face, or not able to understand, put something that you can make them write in the chat box, and this will give you a clue that whether they are understanding your lecture or not. Similarly, some exercise, some clinical scenario question you can, and I already told you that you can summarize at regular interval, and you can even encourage them. Even when we are taking online lecture, it doesn't mean that we cannot ask our participants to ask questions from us. And if you give them a pause for 5 to 2 to 3 minutes, and after every 10 to 15 minutes, they can ask the questions from you, they can ask the queries that they have, and then you can explain in between. And this will give a good conversational information to the students, as well as they will keep the student attentive towards your lecture. And even those students who may not be attentive, by asking your questions, they will get the attention towards your lecture. Similarly, we can put different photographs, videos, and real patient pictures on our slides. We can take the pictures from the internet. We can make the videos real-time patients video. We can take it from the internet. We can show those videos to the students, and then we can explain those pictures and videos to the students. And even we can make on these pictures in videos clinical scenarios, and we can ask them to give the answers on the on these clinical scenarios, either verbally, or we can give through those Google forms that I think on the third day Dr. Wadis Faruqa will be teaching how to make a Google forms and how they can be used for your MCQs and SAQs, or even clinical question answer sessions. We can use it. Once we can make a Google form, we can use it for any purpose. There are certain things that we can even do with the online, like online demonstrations we can give to our students. Suppose I am a gynecologist, if I have to show the mechanism of normal labor to the students, I can demonstrate it on the demi and pelvis in front of this camera, and I can make my student understand what actually I am demonstrating to them. Similarly, if you want to make students active in that, you can ask one of your students to prepare that presentation online, and they can be delivered in front of you similarly through Microsoft Teams, and then you can make the correction for that. So and again, you can therefore online clinical many things we can teach to the students by just demonstrating them. Even we can do many number of things, some different skills we can show to them, like Beeling suture. If I am talking about my on subject, we can teach them. We can teach them Follis catheter insertion on the dummies. We can teach them IV line insertions on the dummies. There are a number of things that we can do through this online demonstration sessions to the students. Then we can also invite the students to create a diagram or mind map. We can give them a certain topic, and we can ask them to write ideas on that, and then they can join and then can make a mind map regarding that. And then we can even ask them if they have the problems regarding that, they can ask and bring it to them. So that I was already told you that while making your this conclusion slide, you have to make the question answer slides, and you have to take the feedback as well. Again, now another way of learning is that flipped learning. What is flipped learning then? This is again, it is possible that we can use it online. That can be used both in online class time and even outside the class time. In this, you can record your lecture. You can put your lecture on the web or the YouTube or wherever on the WhatsApp group of your class, and you ask the students to learn this lecture and go through this lecture. And then when you have an online contact session of that 50 minutes that we are the SIMS is providing you, or whatever the college you are working, they are giving you the online contact session time. In that time, you can make a question answer session based upon that lecture, and in this way the students will come prepared, and then you will be able to have a limited time space in which you can able to emphasize the most important points and topics to the students. And this will also help the students to gain the sense of self responsibility, and they will take the responsibility of their own learning as well. So it is similar concept as of the flipped classroom. So flipped e-learning is again the same concept, that you can make them prepare. You can ask them to come prepare while giving your lecture pre-hand, and then asking the question during your time that have been given to you. Then another way of making the student engage is the whiteboards. This is available in the Zoom, as well as it can be available in the Microsoft Teams. So what is whiteboard is? Whiteboard is simple tool that can be used. You have to, I will just show you a steps that how you have to go and use a whiteboard. You create a class and let the students join. When the students will join, as a teacher, as a facilitator, you will be able to see the whiteboards of every student. But the students will be able to see the whiteboard of only themselves and as well as of the teacher and nobody else. Therefore, these whiteboards can be used for the assessment as well as for the feedbacks. So if you have, I'm talking about the whiteboard in Zoom. In Zoom, it's the inbuilt. If you are taking any class on the Zoom, if you are taking any small session on the Zoom, it's very easy. You can download the Zoom on your laptops, you can download the Zoom on your mobile phones, and you can get that ID, meeting ID, that you can share with the group and ask them to come and to join with you in that class. And once you will get the Zoom on, then click on the start and press the start button. Then it will come the next window that will show you join with the computer audio. Then click with this with the computer audio, and then this come as the screen share, this window in which you have an option of screen share. Click the screen share, and when you will see click the screen share, you will find this whiteboard option. You will click the whiteboard, and when you will click the whiteboard, you will get this sort of a window open, and in which you have different markers, colors, erasers, and all this and things. So while using all this, you can, if you will go and make a draw, then you will can draw a pictures, you can make a question answer, you can write anything, you can do whatever you want to do with the this whiteboards, and you can make the students learn by this whiteboard. And if you have to go through the Microsoft team, that the medium that we are using, and or the methodology that we are using in our SIMS, then you have to download in through the from the web, Microsoft Team web. You have to download the whiteboard for Microsoft, and then you again have to invite a meeting and then access the whiteboard, and then open the meeting chat and click the whiteboard, and you will get the whiteboard, and on that you can continue your lecture with that. Then another way of making the online lecture or group work is the breakout rooms. This can only be done by the person who is actually the host of this Microsoft Teams. In our group, I think this Microsoft team accesses with the DME IT department, that they are the one who are taking and organizing these lectures. Otherwise, if someone has their own team, they can break these lectures into small subgroup. Like the teacher will come, they will start lecture for 10-15 minutes, and then they put the student into different small groups. That will be a breakout rooms for a discussion, and then these students will come back into the main room and will present their ideas to everyone. So this can these breakout room tutorials are present on the internet, and you can see and you can get an idea how they can work. But this is possible that a small discussion group can be generated by the online lecturing or techniques of. Then is the asynchronous lecture. Whatever I was talking up till now was the synchronous, that we have a contact session. We have been allotted 50 minutes lecture that we are coming and we are taking online from our home, our offices, or from wherever we want. But there are certain lectures that are asynchronous. That is, these lectures has been recorded online, and then these lectures has been put on some web, and they from where the students can access these lectures and they can prepare their topics from these lectures. And these lectures can be prepared by some certain installing certain softwares like screencasting software or web conferencing software. These are available on the internet, and they have the tutorials for that even on the internet available. And by looking and by going through those softwares, we can develop our own lectures online, pool of those lectures, and we can put on YouTube or web, and somewhere from where the student can access those at their leisure, and then they can be given an allotted time again back for the question answer sessions, and they can be come to you with for the online contact session to get the answers if they have, or any difficult concept that they have not been understand during this lecture. My take-home message of today's is that online lectures are the most common method of teaching and learning in nowadays in this pandemic throughout the world. The key variable in effective online lecturing are clarity and generating interest. So it's very important to learn different techniques through which we can engage our students during our online sessions. And for that, we need to prepare our slides properly. We have to explain our lectures on difficult concept to the students, and whatever the educational media we have to use it very effectively. And we have to introduce different activities in order to sustain attention, and therefore when we will be able to gain the attention of the students or sustain the attention of the students, then only we can make the students learn properly. With this, I have ended my presentation. This is just a quote. Therefore, it is a time to step up to the plate and get passionate about your work. Commit to make e-learning courses that do not bore people to tears, but instead inspire and motivate them to learn a new skill, change a certain behavior, or improve their performance.